Tell you what, it is nice to be back on the futon. Right where we always filmed the show of the AJ show. We brought this down from the upstairs office and decided to relocate it down here. So we're going to do some rearranging of rooms and such. So there's going to be work to be done. But it's nice to just have a futon right here again. Come down here, I can nap, I can watch TV, I can game right here again. Oh, it's so nice. So nice. And speaking of gaming, what do you know about Metroid? Yeah, I think it's time that we dive into that series for this episode. At least start with the latest entry that came out a few years ago. Metroid Dread. As per usual, get yourself a beverage hour, sit back, relax, and let's crack open and introduce ourselves to the Metroid series, starting with Metroid Dread. Let's go. Today's beverage, water with lime and lemon, or lemon lime. Actual sliced fruits in here. I have actually the past week have been indulging into water with lemons, lime slices in there. It's refreshing. It's very refreshing indeed. But we're here to talk about Metroid. Now, why on earth would we start with Metroid Dread? Why would we go to the end of the line of the series? Well, I'll be real. I'm not a huge Metroid fan. I'm not. By all means, I'm a casual fan of Metroid. I love the idea. I love playing it. But man, Metroid is one of those game series that, as the word puts it, it's dreadful. It's a dreadful time. And not in a negative sense, but man, just the eeriness and the atmosphere of the game that takes place in these planets and worlds. Starting with the first entry, you know what? I could just drive by this one in a short, probably. But Metroid, the original game, you're better off playing Zero Mission. Let's just be real. Zero Mission is a remake of the original NES game. And basically, you're tasked with a mission to defeat the Mother Brain, alright, and the Space Pirates. But you have to go explore the planet Zebes. Sorry, I had a moment right there. Kind of Zebes. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Let's just be real. But Metroid, you know, what is a Metroid? Well, they're basically these little aliens floating around that they look jellyfish-ish, is how I describe it. And they suck the life out of life forms, pretty much. But there's different evolutions of it when you get to, you know, Metroid 2, The Return to Samus, and explore that world to eradicate all the Metroids, which Samus does. Samus is this character right here. If you don't know, that's Samus Aran. Samus is a female protagonist, which in 1986, when the game first came out, nobody knew until the end credits were at the end of the game where it was revealed Samus is a woman? What? It was just crazy revelations right there. But yes, Samus is a woman, a bounty hunter. Her job, task to go defeat the Mother Brain in the first game. And of course, 2 space pirates in there, Kraid, and then of course, everybody's favorite, Ridley. Ridley, my goodness, Ridley just comes back to life every freaking time. And you get experiments, probably. But when it comes to the Metroid series, it's basically you're going through the planet's catacombs, through the cavern system. It's one of those where the frick do you go type of deals, especially in the first game, because you know the little map system you have, it's like a little gray box in the corner. Yeah, doesn't really show you anything. There's a little gray box, but it doesn't really tell you jack crap. It's just as bad as the original Legend of Zelda game. You got a little blimp on the radar. Here's where you're at. You're over here, but heck, if I know where I'm at. Everything looks freaking the same on the original Metroid game. Everything's the same. And don't get me started on starting out with the short beam, and then you get the upgrade to the long beam later on in the game. And this only happens in this game, the first entry in the series. Because apparently Samus keeps that one, but dang it, every freaking game, somehow she loses all of her abilities and has to go recollect it back again. Makes no sense to me, but that's what happens. But for some reason, she keeps the long beat. Good on you, Samus, for keeping the long beat at least. Metroid is a very archaic game, and that's why I suggest to play Zero Mission on the GBA, which you can play on the Nintendo Online service, Game Boy Advance, which is a fantastic time. And moving on from that, what's the story? There's such a lore. There's such a back history through each game. I played the original Metroid game back in 2010. I then played Super Metroid probably about a few years later. I decided to play that on the Wii Virtual Console, and I liked it. I enjoyed it. I had a fun time playing Super Metroid. It was great. I got stuck at Ridley. That's where I ended the game for me. I got stuck at Ridley. But later on, when I picked it back up, again, revisiting it on the online service with the Super Nintendo, I got all the way to Mother Brain and died. And that's basically the gist of it when it comes to Metroid games. I cannot, for the life of me, beat a frickin' Metroid game. Have I beaten Metroid Dread? No, I haven't beaten Metroid Dread. I'm stuck at the final boss, Ravenbeak. That is an insanely hard fight. So, I've played Metroid. I've played Super Metroid. I've played Metroid 2, The Return of Samus, the remake. I did dabble a little bit in the original. Again, online service. I've dabbled in some of the Metroid Fusion. The only Prime game I've played is Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. And I owned it. I played it. Didn't get very far in it. Pretty much sold it. Wasn't a big fan. And then there's Other M. Other M basically takes place, I believe, if timeline is right, after Super Metroid. But Other M, I played that. I bought it for cheap, actually. It was like $15 on clearance at a Walmart, and I decided to pick it up and play it. It was a good time. I got stuck again. Couldn't tell you where I got stuck at, but the whole story of that one was really, really, really stupid. Let's just be real. Nobody cares for Other M, and there's probably some appreciation for it. I think part of it's the control scheme, because it just uses the Wii remote, and then if you aim it, you go into first person mode. It's not a bad idea for Wii standards, but I don't know. The story of it was kind of awkward too, and then being told when to activate. You didn't lose any of your arsenal weapons. No, you were restricted by a commanding officer of the Federation, and was only permitted to use it when necessary. But let's talk about Metroid Dread. This video has gone on long enough and I haven't gotten to Metroid Dread. Metroid Dread is fantastic. It is probably, by far, one of my favorite Metroid games. I think probably over Super Metroid. Maybe. I haven't really decided that yet on whether I like Super Metroid. It sets the standards, it sets the bar. But this one, it has more fluid control, I feel, and it's just easier to wall jump on with this one than trying to tear up my hands trying to wall jump in Super Metroid. Let's just be clear. Control-wise, when it comes to Metroid games and trying to pull off some of these stupid stunts, I don't know how speedrunners do it. Speedrunners are amazing at this, but they know how to pull out tricks to get items early. While I'm over here just trying to figure out the basic mechanics. Because again, casual Metroid fan. Metroid Dread game control style is good. It's so good. It's wonderful. It is just amazing to play. And the various upgrades and weaponry that you get throughout the game, throughout exploration. Again, you still have the map system. Map systems are so much better ever since the original Metroid game. So much better. And it just finding new ways to access areas of the planet, to navigate the tunnels, to navigate rooms, to navigate different sectors and areas, and the different types of combinations of defeating enemies is such a good time. Metroid Dread story is unique. It's a unique story. It harkens back to what is known as the Chozo race, which the Chozos were the ones that raised Samus up, I guess, I think there's a comic adaptation somewhere about Samus's parents being killed by Ridley, and the Chozo takes in Samus to be raised up within their tribe, and that's how Samus gets the power suit, and it has Chozo DNA and just been experimented on, let's just be real. But at this point, since Metroid Fusion, Samus has got Metroid DNA inside of her. There ain't a Metroid in sight in this game until the very end, after the Battle of Ravenbeak, which again, I haven't gotten there. I've gotten to Ravenbeak, haven't beaten Ravenbeak, but spoiler alert, while I was watching some videos on YouTube, Samus becomes a Metroid and is able to have the ability to just suck the life out of Ravenbeak. But, yeah, anywho, moving on. The biggest thing about Metroid Dread, and this is where the dread comes in, the Emmy robots. The Emmy robots is the worst part of the game, but it's rewarding. It's so good. It's great. But man, is it the worst part of the game? Absolutely. I hate the Emmy robot sections. The Emmy robots were sent to, what planet is this? ZDR. Planet ZDR. They come up with some great names. But they went in there basically as research robots. Ravenbeak, of course, takes over and turns them into weapons and basically are hunting Samus to extract the Metroid DNA out of her. That's what they're trying to do. Ravenbeak has an agenda. But there's another character named Quiet Robe who's opposing Ravenbeak. Both of them are Chozo characters. Ravenbeak also comes a variety with a power suit as well, like Samus. It's great. Again, you'll just have to read the lore, the backstory. I'm not too deep into the story of Metroid Dread, but the part about the Emmy robots, as you can see, look at the cover. Look how scary this cover is. They're like hunting you down. And that's what happens when you get to the Emmy sections of the game. They hunt you down. And there's nothing you can do about it until you go into the chamber with the Mother Brain in there and defeat the Mother Brain and get the Omega Cannon weapon, and then you could take out these Emmy robots. Strategically, of course. There's a strategy to each one of them because each Emmy robot has unique different abilities, Especially there's one, I think it's probably the second or third one. I think it's actually the third one. It has the speed boost. And my gosh, you get caught by these things, you have a split second to parry them back and escape. You miss that window, you might as well consider it game over. You get two shots. You get two shots when the enemy robot grabs you and then it tries to inject this thing into you to kill you. But again, split second reactions. That's the hardest part. You get caught, and I got caught numerous times by these enemy robots. And they come in all varieties, all different colors, different abilities. And that's the dreadful part. And gosh, the anxiety kicks in because they're chasing you and you're trying to make your way through. You're flying blind sometimes in the unknown, uncharted areas of ZDR through the Emmy sections. And you're trying to figure out which way do you go. But man, you got somebody on your tail trying to figure out where you're at and try to hunt you down so they can kill you. That's the worst part about it. Boss fight wise, man, when you get to bosses, oh, so good. Kraid's back in this one. That's such a good fight. But then there's one. Experiment, I think Experiment Z57 or something like that. I don't know. That one gave me the roughest time. And I got this game for my birthday, August 22. And I played it, I got to that boss fight, and I stopped. I quit playing this game. And I didn't pick this game back up until recently, because it was sitting in the back of my mind that Metroid Dread, you need to beat it. You need to get to that boss fight and try again. I decided when I picked it up and tried it again, I couldn't remember the control schemes very well. So I was like, you know what? Let's get a fresh save file. Let's start fresh. Let's start new. And let's go. And that's what I did the last month when I picked this back up and said, I'm going to beat this thing. And I did it. I got to the end, the final boss, and I can't get through the final boss. The good thing is, and that's the thing, it is for me personally, it is okay. It is okay. I got to the final boss. Whether I beat the final boss or not, you got to the final boss. The rest of the game, you got through it. You beat Experiment Z57, whatever its name is. You defeated all the enemy robots. You got all the power-ups, all the upgrades. You're powerful as ever. Screw attacking your way through enemies left and right. Have I mentioned how beautiful some of these lands are? These parts in the planet that you explore. It's such a beautiful game. It really is. Metroid Dread is such a beautifully crafted game. And I did contemplate, maybe I just need to sell it. Maybe I just need to get rid of it because it's a dreadful time. It's a dreadful game. And I'm not a huge Metroid fan. I'm a fan of it, but I'm not a big fan of it. But this, after I finally figured it out, I'm going to figure out how to beat Ravenbeak. I'm going to try. But this game, I've decided it's going to stay in my library. And it's going to hang out in my library until the next time I pick it back up and try it again. Metroid Dread is a good time. The Metroid series, if you haven't played it, is a good time. You know, if you want to break into it, start with Zero Mission. Highly encourage it. Go to the online service, get the Game Boy Advance on there, and do Zero Mission. Start from the beginning, you know. Or you know, do Metroid 2, The Return of Samus, or even start with Super Metroid. Both great games. Again, as I talked about the control schemes on some of these games, try to pull up some tricks. It's hard as crap. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe. And take care.